A. Smith. Did I say Stephen A. Smith and Stephen A. Smith? Okay, no, Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James. Okay, seemed like they had a little commotion, if you want to call it a commotion. Looked like they was going to squabble up, if you want to call it a squabble up. It seems there's a clip running around where Stephen A. Smith, and that was on the eve of us knowing that Stephen A. Smith has signed a major figure deal with the worldwide leader of sports, ESPN, 5-year deal. He's getting his bread, $100 million. Look, I know there's a lot of people out there that don't like Stephen A. Smith. I like Stephen A. Smith as a person, but I don't like some of Stephen A. Smith's takes. I don't think Stephen A. Smith is a bad person. I just don't like some of Stephen A. Smith's takes. It is what it is. But you have to give the man his flowers. He signed a 5-year deal for $100 million with the worldwide leader of sports. So, bravo, you got your money. All right. But on the eve of that, he was attending a New York Knicks game. The Los Angeles Lakers were playing LeBron James and Luka. And that was also on the eve of the Lakers getting hot, having Luka and LeBron on court. I think they was on a 7-game winning streak. Now, since then, they have fizzled. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But anywho, LeBron walked up to Stephen A. Smith, and I felt like, to me, from watching the clip, it gives off vibes of when Will Smith smacked Chris Rock. Okay, when Will Smith couldn't control his emotions and was yelling at Chris Rock. Okay, and I know there's a lot of people are going to say, well, Chris Rock shouldn't insult his wife, but it was a G.I. Jane joke. I felt like that situation could have been handled and resolved behind the scenes. And, I felt like the approach Will Smith took, if any of us would have done that and smacked another individual on live TV, we would have been arrested. No ifs, ands, or buts, we would have been arrested. I understand you honoring your wife and things of that nature, but there's a wrong and a right way of doing it. And that was totally the wrong way. But hey, a lot of people, and look, Will Smith, I don't know if people realize this, but Will Smith dwarfs over Chris Rock. Chris Rock is a small, skinny man. Will Smith is a large, stoked man. That is easy pickings for Will Smith. If Will Smith and Chris Rock were fighting, was street fighting 10 times, Will Smith would win all 10 times. There's no way Chris Rock can defend himself to Will Smith. Okay, that's not even a fair fight. All right, but hey, whatever. But back to Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James. LeBron James walked up to Stephen A. Smith. You couldn't really hear what he said, but I guess he basically said, keep his son's name out of his mouth, and then walked off. Which is, to me, and look, it's going to offend some of y'all, that's a bitch move. That's a bitch move. First and foremost, LeBron James dwarfs over, again, Stephen A. Smith. LeBron James is like 6'8", 6'9". He's 250, 260. All right. He's in the best shape as far as a 40-year-old goes. He's an athlete. All right. Stephen A. Smith is 60 something. I think he's like 5'8", 5'9". And once again, this is one of those situations where could have been resolved behind the scenes. Okay. But to me, it's a bitch move. And I felt like LeBron knew the cameras were LeBron knew the cameras was focusing on him, and LeBron said, I'm going to try to embarrass him. He was in his mind thinking, I'm going to embarrass Stephen A. Smith. I'm going to tell Stephen A. Smith to quit talking about my son, and then I'm going to walk off and won't allow Stephen A. Smith to respond. Now, Stephen A. Smith said the next morning, he said when LeBron ran up on him, it felt like a parent was upset at another adult about their criticisms over their son. And that's why he didn't, he didn't even have a time to respond because LeBron walked off like a coward. Okay. To me, that's a coward move. All right. That's a coward move. Now, I understand you protecting your son, but, at least allow the individual that you have an issue with to respond. Now, two, LeBron, you kind of put this on yourself because you yourself said, correct me if I'm wrong, that Bronny James is better than half of the players in the NBA. LeBron, what did you expect? Okay, if you want your son, look, if Bronny was Bronny Jones or Bronny Muhammad or Bronny Smith, Bronny would not even sniff the NBA draft. He would not be picked. Matter of fact, even after the NBA draft, he still wouldn't be picked. If he would have made it to the G League, that's amazing. Okay. But the real reason why the Lakers picked Bronny James is not because of his talent or the potential. They picked Bronny James to make LeBron James happy. Okay. And we all know this. Stevie Wonder can see this. Okay. So for you to sit up there and add more salt to the wound saying Bronny James is better than half the players in the NBA, you got to be kidding yourself. All right? That's really offensive to the players in the NBA. Some players would take that a certain kind of way. Like, wait a minute, you think your son is better than me? He didn't list no names. But I know he's not talking about Kevin Durant. Bronny James I know LeBron is not insinuating Bronny James is better than Kevin Durant, or Bronny James is better than Kawhi Leonard, or Bronny James is better than the Greek Freak, or Bronny James is better than John Morant, okay, or Zion Williams. So you got to list, you got to scratch off a lot of people until you get to the essence of what LeBron James is saying. What basically LeBron James is saying that he's better than a lot of you guys out there. His son is better than a lot of you guys that are in the NBA right now, and some players will take that a certain kind of way. And I really think when he said that, he even added more pressure to his son. I mean, he just, look, ain't no sense faking the funk. We all know that the reason why the Los Angeles Lakers picked your son was to make you happy. We all know that, the Los Angeles Lakers know that they can't build no future around Bronny James. And they just, they just doubled down on that by trading for Luka. So LeBron is not their immediate future. He's not their distant future. He's really only there to make LeBron James happy, because LeBron James wanted to be, I felt like, LeBron James wanted to play with his son and, be in the record books for that. I don't know what that means 10, 20, 30 years from now. Ken Griffey Jr. played alongside his father for the Seattle Mariners. Do people still talk about that? No, people don't talk about that. It's a cool moment at the time, but I don't think that's going to resonate in sports history 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road, 30 years down the road. All right. And if it does resonate in sports history, it's going to resonate in the wrong way, not in the positive way. It's going to resonate like, damn, this guy wasn't even good. And the only reason he got drafted in the first place was the Lakers wanted to make LeBron James happy. But that's neither here nor there. Let's get into what LeBron and Stephen A. Smith. So Stephen A. Smith, and since then LeBron hasn't spoke on it, but Stephen A. Smith said on ESPN and on other podcasts, on ESPN, he felt like he was when he had that moment with LeBron James, it came off as LeBron was protecting his son. And then Stephen A. Smith even elaborated further, like, look, I didn't say nothing critical about your son. He was talking about LeBron James. I don't know of any time Stephen A. Smith has even spent time talking about Bronny James. Now, Ryan Clark from the Pivot podcast said that it was a coward move. And he basically doubled down like, look, the reason why your son is in the NBA in the first place is because of you. It's not because he's the most talented or the most skillful player or had potential. He's only in the NBA because of you. And he also said that if Skip Bayless was there, you wouldn't be walking up on Skip Bayless. You wouldn't be making this much effort and this much noise if Skip Bayless was in attendance. Now, truth be told, Skip Bayless, he don't go to no NBA games. So the odds of LeBron catching Skip Bayless in a moment like that is going to be extremely small. But let's also not get it twisted and confused that if they were walking down the street, I mean, they both reside in Hollywood. And, I'm pretty sure both of them, the opportunity of them of crossing paths would be more greater than if Skip Bayless was residing somewhere else and LeBron James was residing somewhere else. Okay. So, yeah. But to me, my opinion is, look, I understand you want to protect your son, but your son is a grown man, and to me as a father, I appreciate what LeBron James is doing, trying to protect his son, but then at the same time, you're kind of putting barriers in front of your son that you can't protect your son forever. Sooner rather than later, your son has to step up for him, speak for himself. And to a lot of guys his age, they're looking at this as, damn, dude, you don't got enough stones to say anything. Now, he did take to social media. I don't follow Bronny James on social media. He did take to social media and he tweeted the following, and I'm only paraphrasing. He basically saying, dang, the ones that are more critical about me are the ones who can't even play the sport. Which there's some truth in that tweet. And I'm paraphrasing what he's saying. There is some truth in that tweet. But there is truth in that tweet to you. Because Bronny, you haven't proven that you was even deserving of being drafted in the NBA. Some people can say, well, you up there. I know you're tweeting to Stephen A. Smith saying that, his skill set didn't get him into the NBA as an athlete. But Bronny, your skill set didn't get you in the NBA. The name on the back of your jersey got you to the NBA. your father, who's the face of the NBA, got you in the NBA. If you know, and again, if Bronny was Bronny Smith, Bronny Jones, Bronny Thomas, Bronny Johnson, Gus Johnson, he would not even been picked. You know, and we all know that. We all know that. So I understand. I understand LeBron's frustration because his son's been getting a lot of criticism, but then at the same time, Bronny, he's a grown man. He's playing in the NBA, and these people that are critical of your son, they get paid to do this. Okay. Not every NBA analyst or sports analyst or sports personality is going to dance around the subject about your son or throw softball questions at your son. Okay. Not every entity, sports personality, or reporter or journalist is going to do you that solid for you. So you got to take the good with the bad. You know, I mean, Kendrick Perkins, he's gonna smile, he's gonna sing and dance around the subject and talk about how great Bronny James is. You know, there's a lot of Shannon Sharp is not gonna say anything bad about Bronny James because he don't want to ruffle the feathers. And this relationship, this broship he has with LeBron James, he don't want to lose that. Okay, but sooner rather than later, you're going to lose it regardless. All right, so you might as well just man up and be honest with yourself and honest with your audience and just speak the facts. Bronny James is not good enough for the NBA. That's no slight towards Bronny James. That's no slight towards LeBron James. That's no slight towards his family. It is what it is. Okay. Now, you know, does he even have an NBA future? I don't know. I don't think so. If LeBron retires today, does Bronny James have a longevity in the NBA? Maybe to the duration of that contract, but you know, is he going to be able to generate another contract like that? I highly doubt it. Okay, but hey, it is what it is. I'm not hating on LeBron James. I just call it like I see it. If people think that I'm hating on LeBron James, then I'm hating on LeBron James. If people think that I'm hating on Bronny James, then I'm hating on Bronny James. You know, sometimes you got to look at things for what they are, not what they could be, or you don't want to ruin your relationship with a certain group of people because you don't want to stand up and speak the truth. All right. So we're going to go into another topic. But before we go into this other topic, I want y'all to check this out.